Again, we are here today to sign the agreement of cooperation between the NBU and IFC on sustainable finance development. And I invite Mr. Shevchenko to say a few introductory words.
Thank you. Okay, anyway, the weather supports us, so this is good morning and welcome. I've known the representatives of International Finance Corporation for a long time. At one time, we laid the foundation for a long-term partnership that has been developing successfully. I'm glad that today the National Bank of Ukraine and the International Finance Corporation are signing an agreement on cooperation in developing sustainable finance in Ukraine. The agreement will sign today will facilitate NBU's aspiration to create sustainable financial system in Ukraine. We are grateful to the IFC for the supporting us in setting a framework for promotion of green finance and other sustainable solutions, integration of green, ecological, social, and government standards for the better ESG risk management, raising awareness and capacity building not only of the NBU, but other financial institutions as well. We've started to build future landscape of green finance in Ukraine, with developing the strategy, regulations, standards, and green finance technology itself. Green investment to the Ukrainian economy and development of new financial products that have positive impact on the climate should also be priority of Ukraine. Our cooperation agreement, it is acknowledgement of our joint efforts in development of sustainable financial sector in Ukraine. We highly appreciate cooperation with the International Finance Corporation, Mr. Pelman personally, your colleagues. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Governor. And it really is a pleasure to be here. It would be nice if the weather was cooperating a bit more, but I suppose the rain is good for Ukraine's agricultural sector. I think personally, I mean, in having worked with the governor in multiple capacities now, it does give me great pleasure to sign this agreement today. I'd also like to thank the colleagues at the Federal Ministry of Finance of Austria and the Swiss State Secretariat of Economic Affairs, SECO, for supporting this initiative. This is a new milestone for Ukraine's banking sector, bringing us to the heart of sustainable development. As countries plan their recovery from the pandemic, we have a unique opportunity and obligation to ensure that this recovery is sustainable. Why are we doing this? It's not only to unlock short-term gains, which it will, job creation, economic growth, but also deliver long-term benefits, including decarbonization and resilience. IFC and the World Bank Group is committed to helping our partners define and implement a green, resilient, and inclusive recovery. The World Bank Group is the largest multilateral donor for climate investments in emerging economies. 85% of IFC's new operations will be aligned with the goals of the Paris Agreement by 2023 and 100% by July 2025. We're advancing climate business in several important ways, including pioneering green finance. IFC was one of the first initiators of the green bonds. We have now issued more than $10 billion worth of green bonds globally. And setting standards. IFC is helping develop and strengthen climate finance standards, as witnessed by this agreement that we're signing today. The role of the private sector is critical, and as the governor has mentioned, it's not only the national bank as regulator, but we hope that the private sector will play a leading role, ensuring that finance gets to the real sector and in a green and sustainable way. Together with the National Bank of Ukraine, we're developing sustainable finance that will cover 2 streams of activities: development of green finance standards and integrated environmental, social, and governance, or ESG standards. And it's the ESG that has an important role not only in risk mitigation, but creating opportunities. Nearly 90% of our clients believe that our environmental, social, and governance support is key in helping them reach their long-term business goals, improve relations with stakeholders and local communities, and boost their brand value and recognition. Today's agreement aims to support the NBU in opening up these opportunities for the banking sector to improve ESG practices and attract new financial flows. We have already a number of success stories in Ukraine in promoting green finance. Our engagement with Bank is one such example. We're honored to play a role in the bank's evolution into a leading sustainable climate bank. Today's signing will allow Ukraine to further advance green finance and ESG, and it's expected to lead to positive outcomes for all sector players. This includes financial institutions who will be able to expand their businesses, introduce new green products into the market, and adopt ESG practices, businesses who will benefit from financial resources that fit their needs, and the people of Ukraine who will gain as we achieve our climate objectives. So we welcome your commitment, Governor, your personal commitment, your leadership to lead this green recovery, and we're excited to support the National Bank to stimulate sustainable finance development, find ways to boost sustainable investments with sustainable returns. Thank you very much, and I now turn the floor to Lea Soroka.
Доброго дня. Good morning, everyone. And as everyone has said, the rain is good. It makes things green. And every year, Ukraine prospers from that. So this is part of the idea of sustainable development. So as we know, climate is a big issue globally and also for Ukraine. And financial institutions, the National Bank, governments, private sector, and other stakeholders all have an opportunity to provide constructive collaboration and solutions so that we can engage in a bigger triple bottom line. What do I mean by that? Better economic growth, better contribution to climate mitigation and adaptation, and better investments in the future aligned in a sustainable way. So Ukraine has huge opportunities for green development. It is estimated that Ukraine could benefit $73 billion in green finance. This is a very serious number and worth exploring how we can achieve this together. And this is what IFC and National Bank of Ukraine will do together. And as Jason mentioned, that we will approach working together in 2 ways in developing sustainable finance. The first is in the development of the green finance standards, and the second one is in the environmental, social, and governance policies that are best in line with international practices. So through the IFC Green Program, this is the program financed by the Ministry of Austria, and the IFC program in promoting investment through integrated environmental, social, and governance standards, partnered with SECO. IFC will support the National Bank in the following initiatives. Firstly, to design a roadmap for a strategy on sustainable development, introducing policies, standards, and advising the NBU on guidelines to achieve green finance and sustainable finance, which will cover things like alignment with EU taxonomies, carbon accounting, impact reporting, and verification. In addition, IFC will work with the National Bank to strengthen its work in sustainable banking network. And we're very glad to see that the National Bank of Ukraine has recently joined the Sustainable Banking Network. In the Green Finance Project, IFC has already engaged with NBU to provide workshops in developing these sustainable financing standards, as well as commencing stakeholder negotiations on development of the strategy and policies for sustainable finance. In participation with the Sustainable Banking Network, which is a global community of financial sector agencies and leaders from 40 emerging markets committed to advance sustainable markets, sustainable finance around the world. To facilitate the cooperation between the Sustainable Banking Network and the National Bank, we will continue to organize these knowledge-sharing events, building knowledge, information, innovation on how we can go forward to achieve these objectives. In addition, the National Bank will work on environmental, social, and governance standards through the environmental, social, and governance disclosure standards for commercial banks. So this is setting the framework on how they will operate, and the environmental and social risk management for commercial banks. IFC will support the National Bank in raising awareness of the financial sector community and those who will be using the benefits from the sustainable finance framework. I believe that our collaboration with the National Bank in the next couple of years will equip Ukraine to be a leader and take advantage of the opportunities to develop this $73 billion potential. We look forward to your collaboration.
I would like to reiterate once more the importance of green finance for the modern economy. That is why one of the strategic goals of the National Bank of Ukraine is to ensure wide support for strengthening the role of the financial sector in sustainable development of the state. For this purpose, we aim to develop a framework for green, social, and sustainable finance. This framework implies considerations of social and environmental issues by financial sector and capital market participants, and managing risk associated with them, which is important for financial stability and sustainable development of the economy. Signing this agreement with our strategic partner, the International Finance Corporation, a member of the World Bank Group, will create a massive synergy for development of sustainable finance. This is important in current trends of the financial market development and the NBU strategy for Ukrainian financial sector development by 2025. A key part of the agreement, the Sustainable Finance Roadmap, sets out the list of planned actions by the NBU regarding the sustainable finance development. This roadmap summarizes core changes that the NBU intends to implement in the nearest future with the corresponding time frame. The ultimate goal of the roadmap and of our activities towards development of sustainable finance is to provide a credible, predictable, and stable regulatory framework and prepare the markets for transitioning to sustainable finance. The roadmap aims to support incorporation of sustainability issues into decision-making by providing coherent and consistent actions and allowing time for the system to adapt. To ensure high-quality implementation of the roadmap activities, the NBU structures and launches a 24-month project. Best experience for project management, dedicated team from core involved departments, and expert support from the IFC will provide the best results and proper landscape for sustainable finance development. The first deliverables will be prepared in a couple of months. I would like to express my gratitude for the cooperation we've already had regarding the roadmaps and regarding the preparation for this agreement and the workshops we have conducted, and express my confidence in fruitful cooperation in future. Thank you.
We are ready. Let's